You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
I'm back. Rodrans for our Black and White Sports. Well, we know Colin Kaepernick has made a living off race baiting, spreading false narratives involving police brutality and the black race. And a couple of weeks ago, he released one of the most repulsive, ridiculous clips we have ever seen. I mean, in full-blown race propaganda, where he decided to compare the NFL and the NFL draft combine process to modern-day slavery. It's all about a power dynamic. I mean, just a blatant, out-and-out falsehood, a lie. And a lot of people weighed in on this. Well, Joe Rogan has weighed in on this, and I wanted to do this video to check out what Joe Rogan had to say. I mean, this is utterly ridiculous. This is from The Blaze. Joe Rogan slacks Colin Kaepernick for comparing playing in the NFL to slavery. What the F are you talking about? I mean, this was one of the stupidest things I'd ever seen. Colin Kaepernick equated being an NFL player to slavery in his new Netflix series, Colin in Black and White. The, quote, disgusting comparison was met with major backlash online. The 6-part Netflix docudrama series also got shellacked by Joe Rogan. The Netflix TV show compared NFL players at the Combine to a slave auction with a cotton field in the background. That's repulsive. Actually, that is offensive. Colin in Black and White, the series, attempted to make a comparison between NFL owners and plantation slave owners from the late 18th century. In a recent episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, the UFC commentator asked fellow comedian and podcaster Theo Vaughn, did you see that Netflix special where Colin Kaepernick is comparing the NFL to slavery? Vaughn immediately mocked Kaepernick by calling him THROWSA Parks. A joke about the former quarterback attempting to be a civil rights activist. What's amazing to me is, which race are you claiming? It's funny how Kaepernick decided to all of a sudden claim the black race. What were you claiming back when you was at University of Nevada? Just wondering. Logan lambasted Kaepernick, quote, it is the dumbest comparison. Vaughn jumped in and said, that is the lamest. I did try to watch it. It makes me sad. It makes me sad because it just feels like the lowest. It's the lowest pandering for racism that you could create. It's almost infantile, the pandering of it. And I think it takes away from like real racist shit. Rogan bashed Kaepernick. Quote, imagine comparing the ability to do it or not do it. You sign up for it. Everybody, like so many people who play in football, want to be in the NFL. It's a goal. It's a dream. You can make millions of dollars. And imagine comparing that to slavery simply because they measure people's physical performance. Quote, that's what he's doing. He was measuring like wingspans and combine scores like weightlifting and speed and all that stuff, Rogan said, to the slavery scene in the show. That's how to see how physically adept you are, how good you're going to be at football. So they'll give you tons of money. The idea that this is comparable to slavery, whoever effing wrote that down, and then the fact that he read it and said it, then they have that video where they are comparing the NFL owners to slave masters, and they're shaking their heads at each other, Rogan said. Then emphatically prodded, what the F are you talking about? This isn't the first time that Kaepernick has been blasted by a member of the UFC. UFC star, Jorge Masvidal absolutely destroyed Kaepernick. I did a video on that about maybe 6 months ago where he basically told him, go live in Cuba. He's from Cuba, by the way. Against the NFL quarterback turned activist for praising Fidel Castro. Masvidal told Kaepernick to learn some history about Cuba. Cowards like this fool should be sent to live in Cuba to see what they say after a day there. When the controversy over Kaepernick wearing the shirt featuring the oppressive communist dictator first erupted in 2016, the then 49ers quarterback took a shot at the U.S. We do break up families here. That's what a mass incarceration is. That was the foundation of slavery. So our country has been based on, as well as the genocide of Native Americans. So, and we knew when that came out, it was one of the most ridiculous comparisons that we had possibly seen to racism. Look, whether you want to go to the NFL Combine or not is, number one, you're sent a letter saying you have been invited. You have a choice as to whether or not to go. In fact, some guys don't go. Okay, these guys that know they're getting drafted higher, some of the quarterbacks, etc., won't go. A lot of them wait till their pro day at their college. And the idea that you had slaves that were treated so badly, I mean, whipped, tortured, all to the NFL Combine. Okay, Henry Ruggs just run a woman down, essentially, in her RAV4. And think about that now. In a Corvette that he bought from being a 2020 NFL draft pick. And on top of that, the media decided to not really give it justified coverage. Well, Kaepernick, what would you call that? I would call that black privilege right now. I would, because that's what's happened in the fallout of George Floyd. But yet we raked Aaron Rodgers over the coals because he talked to Joe Rogan? Is that a joke? I mean, it's all ridiculous. This is all a political narrative. But Colin Kaepernick, like LeBron James, I mean, let's just be real, okay? They're a terrible influence on society because they are spreading blatant and out lies. And the people listening are too stupid to step back, think critically, and realize they are using you to make a buck. Colin Kaepernick is doing all of this for money. He wasn't good enough to stay in the NFL, okay, at the money he wanted, $20 million a year. He wasn't good enough to be there, so he had to find a way to line his pockets. So, half black, half white Colin Kaepernick decided to become a beacon of social justice while influenced by Harry Edwards. Ridiculous. The dude has lost his ever-loving mind. And look, I appreciate Joe Rogan calling this out. We see more and more these days from guys that at one time we wouldn't have expected this kind of thing from. Joe Rogan, Bill Maher, all these guys like this that I know have voted on the other side of the aisle, but they use a common sense approach to day-to-day life now. So, and they're not afraid to call it out. When your podcast is that big, you don't give a damn. Tell me what you think, black and white sports fans. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.